Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Customs, and this is going to be part 3 of the work in progress series of taking the Sideshow Deja Thorson and turning into a Mary Jane. Now in this video what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working on her t-shirt and probably her hair. I think I'm going to do it all in one video. Now in the last video what we did is we did the jeans and we got all that worked out, but right here if you see this in the last part of the video I talked about how I needed to fill this in. So I did fill this in, I just need to sand this part down. And now we're going to start trying to plan out the t-shirt. Now, I'm not going to do a thing where I've seen a lot of sculptors kind of do, even in factories and stuff. They kind of create boob socks. That's kind of what my friend mentioned to me in one of my chats, so I call it now. Where they sculpt the chest and it's separated, and they just leave it separated. If you if you see anybody that wears a t-shirt, whether you're male or female, you do sometimes have like stretch marks and it's taut around the area. It doesn't sink in to right underneath of it, and you just see a chest. I've seen like sculpts where they'll do wrinkles in the crotch area, maybe around the knees, but when you get up to the chest, it completely looks like there's no fabric on the chest. So always got to kind of keep that in mind, especially when I try to do these customs. So we're going to definitely give her a t-shirt. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about is I'm not going to do it where her chest is squeezing out of her shirt that it's so tight. It'll be sort of a stretchy, loose shirt, but it's not going to be super tight. But one thing about a t-shirt, I think what I do, sometimes I like to do is put these metal rods up over here. And then what I do is I put eaves on top of that. And this way what it does is it makes it look like it's tight, but it's not super tight. And you can also kind of get away with it doing it in the front and putting eaves around. But I think with this one, we're going to have a little bit of sinking in, but not too much. We'll see how that works. But I think for at least the top parts, what I'll do is I'll put a metal rod there just to sort of help me make it look like it's tight around the top of it. And you can kind of see how that works like that. As you can also notice, what we do is I use gray filler primer from Duplicolor, and I have blue pencil lead from my mechanical pencil. That helps me draw everything. It's kind of like the same pencil lead that a lot of like comic book artists use, and then they sort of start inking from there. At least some guys use it for for the old comic book page type stuff. I just find it's really good for doing it on these statues. So what I'm going to do right now is probably work out the the metal rod, try to get the metal rod set up on her, and then I think the next day that I work on something with some A's, or if I plan to work on this, what I'll do is I'll mix some A's up and I'll let it sit for a few hours, and once it's rolled out and it's really tight and it's kind of curing up and it's not really sagging, I can sort of cut out this little area here and I can sort of put a piece of A's around here and start working out. Because I want to do is I want to get this part first and this part first, and then start building the shirt over it. Then, as you can see, the arms are both removable, so the t-shirt is going to end here. So I'm going to have to sand some of this down. This this bracer that was on Deja Thor's, and then I'll start adding wrinkles around the shirt. We'll kind of cut it off here and add wrinkles, and then over here, because this one is almost in the middle of her bicep, we have to sort of bring it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of rework the shirt a little bit, and then what I'll do is maybe sort of put it at a little bit of an angle, like the shirt's kind of like coming down and it's kind of like a little bunched up over here because she's lifting up her arm, and we'll kind of work on that. You'll see how that works out. And then if all works out pretty well, once we get the shirt done, we can start planning out the hair. I'm going to be sculpting the hair from scratch, and I think what I want to do is either I'm going to have it sort of come down around here and around her shoulder and sort of go around that way so we can actually still put the arm in, because if I try to sculpt the hair around over here, it'll be hard to get these fingers in, so we're going to kind of go around there. So I think it'll look pretty good with her like this, where the hair is sort of bunching up around here and stuff. But what we'll do is, when we get to the hair part after the shirt's done, we'll use some silly putty, and I'll see which way I like it the most. I usually throw silly putty on there, and it gives me a visual of like, okay, I want more of the hair on this side, or I want more hair on that side. So we'll figure it out. And then once that's done, it's pretty much finding up some details and stuff, and cleaning up the base a little bit dusty, and then start planning out the paint work, because I think that's pretty much where I really want to go with it. We're leaving some of the jewelry that was on Deja Thor's on her, which I think is going to work out pretty well on her too. And then after that, we'll kind of plan all the paint work, and then also what I'm going to do with the spider symbol and that stuff. So let me go ahead and get this rod all set up. We'll kind of go over that, and then we can start working on the shirt. Okay, so I went ahead and I bent the rods, and as you can see, I sort of drummeled out little spots here. See, it's kind of jumbled out there and there, so this goes in there. The idea is I need the rod to support it at the bottom, but I don't need the rod to be up high, because then if you throw A's on top of that, you have like this high, area. We just need it to be enough so it just looks like a shirt's kind of taunt going over this part. Now, this part over here is sort of sticking out a little bit, and this part is probably going to stick out a little bit as well. What's going to happen is that after I put the glue, I'm going to let this set up for the night, because I'm not really going to mess with this too much today. What I'll do is I'll go in the garage tomorrow or the next day, and I'll grind out these areas here. Basically, I just need this area around this edge is to be the part where I can layer the A's on top and then sort of take it down. So even if I have to grind a little bit out on this edge and grind a little bit on this edge, that's fine. I mean, I wish I had some thinner rods, but I find that sometimes the thinner ones are actually too thin to kind of bend, and they sort of sag down anyway, so I don't want to do that. So basically, it's really simple for right now. It's it looks messy, but once you start building onto it, you go from there. So we'll just do it on this one. It's kind of hard to turn. We'll just do it on this one. So make sure you have it at the right angle. Always make sure you don't mess them up too, because sometimes you can. So all I really do is I just take a bunch of my BSI gel glue. I throw that in there. And then I throw a whole bunch over in here. Over like that. And basically after that, just take your rod. It just helps lock it into place. Because if you try to put A's on this without it locking into place, you start running into all those issues. And take our Instaset, just drop some Instaset in there, and that's pretty much how you do that one. And always make sure you don't have your Instaset sticking out over your glue bottle so it doesn't lock up on you. And the same thing over here. It really doesn't matter too much like what the underneath looks like, as long as you get your A's on top of that and then you lock it into place and you sculpt and everything, it's fine. This is what you call an armature, basically. Just gives you a nice, good, secured area to work on. You could do A's, you can roll out A's and really letting it toughen up, and then you can throw A's on this item and roll it and let it lay down. But the only downside with that is if you ever accidentally go to lift this up and you actually grab this area, see like how I'm pushing this down, it's not really cracking, it's like A's could kind of snap on you and crush you. And that's something I try to avoid as much as I possibly can when I do anything like this. So just take some more Instaset, throw that over there. And then next time I have some A's and I'm ready to, I could just roll the A's on top of here and it'll just lay right across there, and I don't have to worry about any of the piece getting messed up. And if at any point, this glue doesn't hit this item very well, I can just go ahead and slap some more glue in there. Or if I have any extra A's, I could kind of lock this up in place, which I do have a little bit of A's because I'm working on something right now. I could just put some A's on top of this. I'll kind of show you real quick. You can just kind of help lock this into place, and you could just throw some A's on there like that, just kind of throw in there. But I got some Instaset in there right now, and I got to sort of let that dry up. So I'll go and work on my item, and when we come back, what you'll probably do is you'll probably see some A's over in here, 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 and here, and you might even see some of this grounded out when I'm ready to lay down some A's. Because what it is you want the shirt to sort of kind of cover around the item, but right now what it'll do is it will cover and then it will go down. So some of this will have to be sanded down a little bit, but that's okay. And if you want to just double check to make sure the glue is kind of help lock it into place. And it's pretty good, yeah. The Instaset sort of dries up fairly fast. It kind of evaporates on you. It's not going to evaporate real fast, but I squeezed a lot down there, so it'll go away. So I'm not really too worried about that. So yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll let this set up, and then when I come back, hopefully we can start laying A's around. So, but one thing I'm going to do is, before I do this, yeah, I think I'm going to just layer A's around here. Well, I'll do, like I said, one day if I have some A's rolled out and it's getting tough, I could come back and I could kind of layer a little piece kind of curved around here, but we'll come to that later. Alright, I'm going to start working on the sleeves now. With this sleeve here, because the arm, I'm going to have it like sort of bunched up like it's kind of coming at an angle. I guess you can say sort of like, almost like this. And bunch it up and come around there. With the other sleeve, I'm going to have it down there, around there, so it's kind of a little bit around this. But I'm not going to, I don't want them to make them look them tight, but I don't want them to be super loose and floppy. So I got to come up with a middle ground, and then what I'll do is over in here, I'll add some wrinkles and stretch marks and stuff of that shirt, sort of like what I almost did over here. I still got some more tweaking to do now that I'm getting back onto this. I got some putty work to do around here and stuff like that. But I think mix up some A's and I can start working out this. And this way this could go in and out, but still have the shirt kind of go over the biceps. Okay, so we got a little bit more work done on her, as you can see. This arm I had to sort of tweak underneath there, because what happens is when you sculpt the shirt, it kind of hits the pillows, and that's kind of a little bit of a mess. Every time I put the saran wrap on there, it started causing more issues, because it's sinking in. So I figured, let me just use the baby powder and then I'll clean it up. And then if I have to, we'll do something else with the pillow. But now this kind of goes in at a nice angle, and you can see that the shirt's kind of like angled. So it kind of looks like it's a little bit there, and I did some wrinkles here. I have to sort of throw some eaves up in this arm here, because this shirt doesn't look right and I couldn't seam it correctly. But I'm going to get that done right. The top of the shirt is looking good. And now this part is the next thing. So this sleeve is actually looking pretty good right now. What happened is, I sort of had to flat sand it down and sort of flat sand this down and get this on there, so it looks pretty good, nice and tight around the shirt and everything. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go in the garage and I'm gonna probably Dremel this out a little bit here, and I'm gonna add some wrinkles underneath the arm, because I don't like the way this is. Even though that's kind of like sort of like the muscle and stuff there, it's easier to kind of Dremel this out and go from there and add some wrinkles. Probably have to do it sort of on the back too as well, but I didn't sculpt the back of the shirt here. It's kind of hard to see at the moment, because what's going to happen is when I sculpt the hair is going to come down a lot and go around and everything. So we're good with that. But the more and more I look at this now, the more I like the way I did her chest and the way the shirt is and everything. It looks really cool. I really like the way this is and everything. So it's going to look really cool when we put the Spider-Man logo and all that stuff on her. Yeah, so I got some fresh eaves mixed up. I was just working on another project, so the eaves, I got a little bit extra. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. We're going to go ahead and add some wrinkles over there. We'll kind of start touching all this up, and then we'll get one good final look over it, make sure we got everything done and looking pretty good. Now, just the bottom of the shirt too, real quick. I didn't do it perfectly even. I added little wrinkles just to make it look like it's an older shirt and sort of worn and stuff. Because I don't want to do a super bright, perfect shirt, but I don't want to make it look dirty like it's like on dirty rag. But I want to make it look a little older and worn, I guess you could say. But I don't want to make like rips and stuff. Just kind of make it look like on the bottom it's just kind of a little older and stuff like that. I would do it with the sleeves, but having removable parts and stuff, it's kind of hard. If the arms weren't removable, then you could probably do it a little bit better. But I kind of like the way it is. I think the bottom of the shirt is fine. Yeah, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and add these wrinkles. We'll start cleaning this up, and then we'll see how she looks with the shirt done. And then after that, it's going to be a matter of figuring out what to do with this hand. Now, I did have somebody on my live streams, Raz, who does 3D printing. He printed me out a whole bunch of bags of hands of different left and right and stuff. So I think there might be a different hand we might swap out and put in here, or come up with a little bit of an idea. But we'll kind of get to that next after we're done with this section of this video. Because the hair is something I've really been trying to focus on. I went on DeviantArt, and I went into like a lot of Instagram stuff, and I have a whole folder of hairstyles, and I'm going to try to figure out which style I want to do. I want to make it look sexy, like kind of flipped over at a certain angle, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have it flipped over this side and come down here, or go over there, but I'll have to do some silly putty work. Well, we'll do that in the hair video. But I'm just kind of thinking about how I go. But everything else I'm looking pretty good, I'm happy with. So I like the jewelry that's on her. It's kind of cool. Jeans I'm actually really happy with the way they're looking. So it's just a matter of just finishing up this section over here. So let me go get that Dremelled out. We'll work on that, and we'll kind of close out the video since the shirt is pretty much just about done. Alright, so we're going to close out this video here. Sorry we didn't get onto the hair in this video. I had some real life stuff going on for the past couple months if you watch my YouTube channel, so I didn't really get a chance to really focus on this item at all. And then when I started getting back to work, commissions took over. But now I'm sort of getting back into that groove where I can work on some side stuff here and there when I have the free time, while either stuff is drying with primer, sculpt, or paint. I could kind of work on this here and there. So the shirt came out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. Just a matter of some tweaks now, but this is just some tedious stuff. So you can see there's a little bit of like a weird putty work there. So I have the Tamiya gray putty. I have my little spackle rubber tip brushes, and I kind of just went over some areas to sand down. The garage is just very like hot now, so I'm working on commissions first in the garage, cooling down, and then if I have the free time when I'm dirty and stuff, I can work on the side projects. But I'm trying to get this going. I'm happy with the way the shirt is going. I'm happy with the look of it. It feels like it's a nice taunt shirt with her leaning back on the chair. We got wrinkles. I like the way the chest kind of worked out on her. I'm pretty sure once we get the Spider-Man symbol on here, it'll look out really cool. The hands work pretty good with the arms. I like the way this kind of connects. It doesn't touch the head perfectly, which is fine because we're going to be putting some hair in there. And it's going to be looking like, you know, it's going to work out pretty well. Because if it was touching her scalp perfectly, it would be really hard to get that hair to flow in there with the fingers. So we'll get it to work. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do the hair. We'll kind of go over that in the next video and stuff. To figure out like if we're going to have it flip over this way, kind of come around the shoulder, if it's going to flip over this way. I got to figure that out. We'll do it with Silly Putty. Now, I didn't do anything to the back of the shirt, as you can see here, because I didn't want to really focus on this, because I know I'm going to have some hair come around the shoulders and stuff. So all this will probably get hidden anyway, so there's no reason to work on the shirt here. And I got to just make sure when we do the hair, it doesn't come down to the point where it locks into the pillows. So we'll kind of make sure it goes over the pillows. So we'll focus on that. One thing I'm going to be working on too is also figuring out what to do with this hand. So I have a bag of 3D printed hands I've been using for other projects. So one of these hands might be used for her, and then we might put something in the hand, or we might not. I'm not really sure yet what I'm going to do. Because she had the gun or the whatever in her hand. So we're going to probably like cut this off and do something else, and maybe put something in her hand. I don't know. I got to think about that as down the line. So next video, we're going to definitely focus on the hair, but sorry, like I said, I didn't film a lot of this while I was working on this shirt. I had so much stuff going on the past couple months. The times I did work on it, I guess I forgot to either film it, or I did have it on footage, but I might have deleted it when I edited other stuff. So things have been crazy, but I'm trying to get back on track. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way this shirt looks. I like the way it's coming out. It's going to look really cool once painted up, and we have that Spider-Man symbol, and this should look pretty good. I got a whole idea on how to paint up the base. It's going to take some time, but it should look pretty good as a Mary Jane. So that's where I'm at right now. Next video, we're going to definitely focus on that hair, and we'll try to get all that done. And then once the hair is done, then we clean it up and we figure out what to do on the right side of our hand. That's pretty much it. We can start doing all the paint work. Like I said, I'm not really doing any crazy custom work with the chairs or pillows. It's just going to be painting it up in specific colors and just make it look like a nice Spider-Man Mary Jane theme type chair. It's a little bit dusty too, but we got to clean up all that dust, only because like I said, I haven't really had a chance to work on all this and everything, but we're getting there. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll be back with the next video on working on hair.